Transformers review, and today we're going to be taking a look at TFC Toys Battle Rollar. I'm just going to call him Roller because I hate saying Rollar. Yeah, this is the company that is doing the upcoming, not Devastator, Hercules or whatever they're calling them. This is actually an older third-party item, 2008. And it's a little bit apparent because the plastic is not really the same quality that you're getting out of modern fans project stuff, but it was still pretty cool for its time, and it's still pretty nice now, just a little more fragile than some of the fans project stuff. Now, the box here is made to resemble the special edition boxes. There was an Optimus Prime, Megatron, Drag Strip, and Overkill, I believe it was, that came in them. And this is basically what this was designed to go with. I don't have any of those boxes handy to show you, but inside you would get his information here, which, let's see if I can get that in frame, and you can kind of pause it if you want. Hopefully that's okay that you can read that. And you get some speed and stats, and then Roller would be displayed in his vehicle mode with some weapons down here, fists, and a windshield. So without wasting time, let's actually get to him. And this is him. He's a little blue roller, and all these wheels are on not really ball joints because they're actually flat on ends to keep it from rotating so much, but it will still kind of go in and out, which I guess is okay because if he's some kind of all-terrain recon vehicle, having the semi-independent wheels is kind of cool. Inside the box, you also get this comic, the origin of him, and I'm not going to really read it out loud, but essentially what it depicts is, I guess, Rollar, when he was, in younger years, he was wanting to be friends with Orion Pax, but he wasn't. And then after Orion Pax became Optimus with the Matrix, the glow of the Matrix decided that it would reformat Roller and basically make him the scout that was going to work with Optimus. And that's how you got this current form. And the back is just an advertisement for the battle blades that you could attach to the movie, 2007 movie Prime. This is before the Revenge of the Fallen stuff. And you get the instruction manuals that just the parts you're moving are highlighted in red, very similar to current Hasbro stuff. And then what else would you get but accessories? And I'm going to have to move the camera down here for this. But you get a plethora of fists, and now there's two fists on him, but I don't have them off. If you were to put his left fist and his right fist here and look very carefully, on the fist there's an R-O. The two that are on him both have L's, and then A, and then R. I have really no way I'm going to be able to show you that, I don't think. But for fists, you get a good variety. You get the hand splayed open type, one for each hand. The ones that are on him are just your closed fists like this to hold weapons. You get like a karate chop type fist for his right hand, and then for his left hand you get one of the I'm rocking out type fists. You also get these shield pieces. I'll show you them in a second. They're kind of neat. These two guns and two swords. Now, the weaponry that is given to him, and I'll just pull in Bumblebee here, is all usable with the standard 5mm peg slot. He just slots right in, so it's a great way to give Bumblebee some weaponry too. And this one's a little bit tighter on the gun, but you can see it plugs right in. So it's all usable with your other stuff. Let's just get that out of the way. And the final thing that comes in the box here, which I can't get off the desk, is this like trading card with a nice picture of him, and then again the bio and his stats on the back. So before I get on to doing anything, let's do a little bit of size comparison, because I'm sure everybody has fiddled around with a roller at some point. So here he is next to his G1 counterpart. Excuse me. And if you picked up the new Fans Project G3 trailer, that's their interpretation of Roller. So it's definitely much bigger. It's more in the scale with a deluxe car mode character. Here's like a Scout. So, a little bit bigger than the Scout. Before I show you using any of the accessories, he's also got a third mode, they call it. I think it's pretty weak. You basically rotate these up, and you'll see the wheels kind of have a matching slot here. They don't peg in, they just kind of loosely sit together, and you just basically rotate all these wheels up like this. And then once they're interlocked, sort of like that, so they roll together, you flip them upside down, and that's the other mode. Now, I think the idea is that these red shin pieces are supposed to be like the cockpit or whatever for them, but there's really no point to this mode, and I think it looks kind of dumb, personally. Maybe if this came forward and it could look kind of more like a cannon, it would be cool, like a tank mode or something, but as it is, it's kind of silly looking. So let's make him look more like Roller did. Now, the instructions will also show you a second mode, if that was the third mode. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, he does come with a variety of holes and pegs, and actually if you look at his guns, they've got kind of a hole and a peg, so you can actually combine them together as if they were one gun, or place them on top of the sword, or place the sword on top of it, or whatever you want to do. So it's designed such that you can place this gun inside this hole and take the second gun and put its hole on the peg, so you can hold them like that, or you could put them more towards the back, whichever one you really want to do. It's up to you. Now, it works better in the front just because the barrels in the back would be touching each other, so it's a more secure connection the other way. You could also, I suppose, put one in the front and one in the back. Really, whatever you want to do. You also have, like I said, these shield pieces, and they are essentially to make Roller look a little bit different. Now, I like personally how these look. You certainly don't have to put them on if you don't want to, but you basically take the tabs and you peg them into the little wheel pieces here. And to me, it just kind of makes a neat looking alt mode for Roller here. Might have this one reversed. Yep, there we go. And do it for this last one. And then it just kind of seals everything in and gives them a little bit different of a look. The instructions refer to this as a different mode. I just think he's kind of got a cockpit thing going on here. It's not really what I would classify as a different mode, personally. But it looks cool like that to me. So, while we have him here, he also has some functionality in terms of interacting with other characters, such as the Classics Prime, the 2007 Leader Optimus Prime, and sorry, you can't concentrate while I'm trying to get this last piece off. the 2007 liter Prime and Masterpiece Prime. Now, I only brought up the Classics Prime here, but I assure you, he does combine with everything. He's got this little red tab here. This is going to help facilitate him combining with like the Masterpiece and the Movie Prime. I believe this connects to the Movie Prime somewhere, which then allows him to plug in like that. I forget exactly how he attaches, but I'm not too concerned about it. He has a jetpack mode, and it works for all these different characters. You're basically going to flip his rollers a little something kind of like this, whatever you really think looks good. I like pulling off something like that. And then he's got this peg right here, and I'm sorry, I did it the wrong way. It should be with the front of the car down, so kind of like this. And you get something like that, and it can plug on to Optimus and give him, you know, a jetpack. It's a little strange, but it's kind of cool. It does something else that's not just Roller, and if you have no trailer, it integrates with Optimus somehow. There's also another version of this, which is if you go back the way I was originally transforming it and kind of put these down here, then you're going to take the top and you're going to fold it up like this at his waist, so your barrels are facing forward. You then take your guns and you slide them in underneath the headlights here. And I believe this mode only works with the Classics Prime. The jetpack mode has a way of integrating with all of them. And then you plug it again back into the slot in the back of Prime. And now you got kind of like a weaponized mode for Prime using the Roller trailer, and you still have the Roller, and you still have the jetpack type gimmick going on. And unfortunately, my Prime here, I have a couple versions. The one I'm using, unfortunately, this is a little loose. Usually, it holds itself up a little better, but. And maybe you can't even see that. Let me adjust it. So, yeah. You see it gives them a look like this. A little more weaponed out with a backpack. So that's really what you can do there. Now, let's take them apart. Let's get on to actually doing the transformation form. And it's relatively simple. Like I said, he is a bit fiddly because his plastic quality and everything is not really up to that Fans Project type par. And you might be able to even just hear the difference in the plastic quality when working with this. But regardless, it's still cool and it's much cheaper than most of the Fans Project stuff. So you're going to start, let's get him in focus here, by pulling out the front assembly and flipping it out like this. And then you can flip his waist here. Now you're going to take these, you can rotate them up, then rotate them so the barrels are down. Just leave them like that for a second. Take this back assembly and rotate it down, and rotate his little toes around, and then bring in this thruster here, and you can split it at this point too. Again, rotate it on around, flip his toes, and rotate this assembly in, and that's really acting like a heel spur for him. And you can see what I'm saying when he's a little bit more fiddly. Now, the next part to do is to take the top part and kind of flip it backwards, and that's really going to take care of most of everything on its own. And then you can split the front here. Once you split this front, you can see as you're rotating this back assembly down, it's revealing his head. And it's just pretty much from here a matter of cleaning things up. And I believe you take this back one, rotate it in, and around like this. I don't believe it folds in. And do it again on this side. In, rotate, and down. Actually, no, you know, up is what you want to do, because it's going to make basically like a jetpack for him. And you pull his head up, and this is where the assembly stops, so you have this little back piece kind of hanging off, but it's okay, I guess. And when you rotate this down, it's going to bring his arm up a little bit here. And you rotate that down, brings his arm up. There's actually like a shoulder assembly here that kind of locks in place, at least a little. When you can see it slides in, and you rotate it, and it kind of locks it in a position. And then it's just a matter of figuring out what you want to do with these arm cannons. I personally like just kind of putting them behind his arms here. I think that is ultimately what the book tries to make you do. And again, a little bit fiddly. Now, this is my second one because of the fact that he kind of bounces around a little. And the first time I had tried to make him a little more solid with some super glue, and that backfired entirely for me, as it seized up a whole bunch of joints and then he basically broke. So this is the second one. So if you're going to do it, use some like future floor polish, or use nail polish, something like that, that gives a little better than the than super glue does. But when you're done, you end up getting something like this, and he's pretty cool. You can store all his weapons on him. I personally like giving him his handguns here, so I'll put them in his fists. Which, if you didn't notice, the fists are a translucent blue. I have no idea why they did that. But you can give him his guns, or you could give his guns to someone else, whatever you want to do. These swords here are ridiculously sharp, so be careful, because they are very pointy. But on his legs, you'll see he's got a peg assembly. You can peg them on, and so they hang from his waist here, which is a cool little look, if you ask me. I really like, let me see if I can get it, the head sculpt on here. He has like the yellow crest, similar to Prime Center one. It's just, you know, the outside's almost a faceplate, just like Prime, and I like it. He's got some personality, personally. And that is Rollar. And as you can see, he is a bit back heavy, but he's posable. You definitely can work with him, even though it's a little more difficult than most. But he is a bit less designed than some of the newer stuff, so I can kind of excuse it. And I'll probably end up solidifying some of his connections a little better with the nail polish this time, so it's fixable. Now, the last part of his accessories here is you had this shield, obviously, and it's designed such that you have the little outer tabs that are what facilitated the clipping, actually now are used to clip into like a square portion on each of these pieces. And it kind of makes like a pseudo little riot shield for him. And from what I can see on the instructions, is that you take this riot shield and you plug it into a portion of the wheel to make it kind of hold itself in place, but I don't see it working too well. It doesn't seem to hold for mine. Well, maybe it does. There we go. I got it to hold in that time. So it gives him a shield. It's not terribly convincing though, if you ask me. So I usually just put these back in the box. You're probably not convinced to pick up this toy because he's fiddling around with me a little here. but I assure you, he is pretty fun to use. For size comparison purposes, here he is next to that same Reveal the Shield Bumblebee, and then Optimus Prime. So you can see he's about the height of a deluxe figure. He's a bit more spindly than your average deluxe. We can include Cup here because he's on the desk. And you can see that he's like a bit skinny for deluxe size. So he's kind of like maybe Scout Plus. But he's pretty cool. He's effective at what he does. I think he just looks good on the shelf. And posability issues aside, with some of the weaker choices for the knee ball joint, and I do stress, don't hold him by his legs here because the weight is heavy enough to pop him off. You can see it's a strange ball joint, so it's a little weird, but he's definitely interesting, and he definitely makes a pretty fun roller. Goes good with the Masterpiece Prime, is a very small scout guy. Goes good with the Voyager Prime as, you know, a little ally. I don't really see him going with the movie Prime. He doesn't really have too much movie aesthetic. I've never put him on my 2007 leader. Yeah, but he's pretty good, aside from his slightly gimped ball joints here. But again, that is remediable. Just don't use super glue so you don't permanently seize anything, because that would be bad, and that's how you will end up needing to spend money on a second roller, like I did, if you liked them at least, and I do. Just everything just looks nice. So yeah, I'm probably rambling at this point, so I'll probably cut some of this, which you won't know from the magic of editing. Anyway, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the TFC EX-002 Battle Rollar, and I will see you guys next time. Now stand up. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to note. While he is cool, he is only, well, when he was new he was $30. Now he's a little bit more expensive since he's harder to track down. I hope that this guy has taught TFC a little bit of a lesson, and the new Not Devastator ends up being a little bit higher build quality. Otherwise, I probably will not be buying anything past the first piece. But for the price point that he is, he's not so bad. If you saw that Impossible Toys RC review, I can assure you I like him way more than I like that RC, even if he's a bit difficult to pose. Anyway, this is T2RX6. See you guys next time.